of dreams. Speed and drama every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Not Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
Lights out, engines roar. Sunday night, we want more. Speed kings racing on the track. Feel the thrill, no turning back. Drivers chase, the trophy gleams. 6 p.m, the race of dreams. Corners tight, they grip and slide. Feel the rush, take it in stride. SKR, we're racing high, burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. It stops fast, the team's on fire, chasing down their heart's desire. Highs and lows, we're on the edge. Feel the speed, no time to hedge. Rivalries, the fierce battle's fought. Every move, it's match or not. Lightning fast, they glide and weave. All the fans, they can't believe. SKR, we're racing high, burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. Rivalries, the fierce battles fought. Every move, it's match or not. Lightning fast, they glide and weave. All the fans, they can't believe. SKR, we're racing high, burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more.
Under neon lights and engine screams, she's the guardian of our speed-filled dreams. With skull in flight and alien on the chase, she's the calm in the storm, our guiding grace. Andre by her side, loyal and strong, their love's been racing all along. But it's the brotherhood she holds so near. With every lap she makes it clear. Oh, Death Queen, heart of the grid. With every cheer she lifts the lid on fears, on doubt she tears through night. Her voice, our fuel, our fearless light. From cockpit to coach she stands supreme, a true believer in the brotherhood dream. Oh, Death Queen, in shadows and gleam, you are the queen of our sim racing team. Trophies shine, but not like her pride. Watching Skull and Andre glide. She's there in silence, she's there in roar, in every circuit, every lore. From midnight spins to dawn's first light, she's always there holding us tight. No crash too deep, no curve too wide. With her in spirit, we rise, we ride. Oh, Death Queen, heart of the grid. With every cheer she lifts the lid on fears, on doubt she tears through night. Her voice, our fuel, our fearless light. From cockpit to coach she stands supreme, a true believer in the brotherhood dream. Oh, Death Queen, in shadows and gleam, you are the queen of our sim racing team. Just a fan, she's legacy born, through every F1 storm we wore. Holding the line, fierce and unseen, forever our monarch, our Death Queen. Whoa, Death Queen, heart of the grid. With every cheer she lifts the lid on fears, on doubt she tears through night. Her voice, our fuel, our fearless light. From cockpit to coach she stands supreme, a true believer in the brotherhood dream. Oh, Death Queen, in shadows and gleam, you are the queen of our sim racing team. Yeah, oh, Death Queen, you are the queen of our sim racing team.
Rubber burning at 6 p.m. Engine spark the night. SKR Sundays, the league takes flight. Tracks light up with drama, rivalries ignite. High stakes battles, every corner's a fight. SKR rocking fumes, drown the air. Glory or despair, who's the prodigy out there? From the grid to the flag, all stories unfold. Speed's the addiction, hearts running cold. On the straights they disappear like vapor trails. Every apex tight, chasing demons, no fails. Crashes bring shock, but the grit prevails. A circus of adrenaline, victory unveils. Pit stop maestros with hands made of steel. Seconds decided if dreams turn real. One lap glory or heartbreaks deal. SKR serves it raw, the ultimate appeal.
We finished it off. That's a big day for us, for constructors. We'll keep chipping away.
Pizza's paying off, mate.
Pizza, pizza, pizza.
SKR rocking fumes from the air. Glory or despair, who's the prodigy out there? From the grid to the flag, all stories unfold. Speed's the addiction, hearts running cold. SKR rocking fumes from the air. Glory or despair, who's the prodigy out there? From the grid to the flag, all stories unfold. Speed's the addiction, hearts running cold. On the straights they disappear like vapor trails. Every apex tight, chasing demons, no fails. Crashes bring shock, but the grit prevails. truth reigns slick with fears. Under the helmets, warriors hiding tears. Podium champagne or whispers of jeers. SKR roars through fire and gears. Pit stop maestros with hands made of steel. Seconds decide if dreams turn real. One lap glory or heartbreak steel. SKR serves it raw. The ultimate appeal. Fire scream truth reigns slick with fears. Under the helmets, warriors hiding tears. Podium champagne or whispers of jeers. SKR roars through fire and gears. SKR, market fumes drown the air. Glory or despair, who's the prodigy out there? From the grid to the flag, all stories unfold. Speed's the addiction, hearts running cold. SKR. SKR.
In Spain, turn 5, Max came flying through. Pushed George off the track, said, Woody, that's for you. Got a penalty, but Max just smirked, oh well. While George cried, he's a bully, this is hell. That Maverick's got no fear, he's racing like a storm. Now rumors say to Merc he's coming, George ain't warm. Oh, Max to Merc, it's got George scared to death. Woody shaking bad, he's short on breath. Lose his seat or race with Max, his bully in the fray. Max just laughs, calls him Woody and speeds away. Oh, George's tears are falling like rain on a dusty road. Max to Mercedes, that's George's heavy load. Back in Abu Dhabi 21, they clashed real tight. George snapped, Max, you're a menace, that ain't right. Qatar 23, Max shoved him wide, George yelled in heat. Don't fucking bully me, Max, I'm sick of this defeat. Max grinned, toughen up, Woody, stop your whining spree. Now George's nightmares got Max in Merc's front seat. Oh, Max to Merc, it's got George scared to death. Woody shaking bad, he's short on breath. Lose his seat or race with Max, his bully in the fray. Max just laughs, calls him Woody and speeds away. Oh, George's tears are falling like rain on a dusty road. Max to Mercedes, that's George's heavy load. Max channels Senna, Schumacher, bold and brash. Wheel to wheel, he's leaving rivals in a crash. But George, oh poor George, he's trembling in his hat. Max calling me Woody, I can't deal with that. He's polishing his Merc, but his heart's in a spin. Max says, my teammate, Lord, I'll never win. Oh, Max to Merc, it's got George scared to death. Woody shaking bad, he's short on breath. Lose his seat or race with Max, his bully in the fray. Max just laughs, calls him Woody and speeds away. Oh, George's tears are falling like rain on a dusty road. Max to Mercedes, that's George's heavy load. So here's to Max, the Maverick, racing wild and free. Red Bull or Merc, he's the king of F1 spree. but George keeps on crying. Woody as his name. Max with shadows looming, driving George insane.
Max the Maverick. He rolls to the grid, eyes sharp as a blade. A storm in the cockpit, never afraid. Teammates tremble, they can't keep pace. Max takes the wheel, owns every race. From car to crown, he carved his way. A predator born to slay the day. The records fall, the doubters fade. A legend's forged, the price is paid. Max Verstappen, king of the fight. Burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more.
Are born, they tried their best, but Max just laughs, aces the test. He dances through corners, a devil's art. Tears up the field, rips it apart. Red Bull's wings, they used to soar. Now it's Max who evens the score. The car's not prime, the rivals grin, but he still finds a way to win. Max Verstappen, king of the fight. Burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. Monaco streets, Silverstone rain. He turns the chaos into his gain. A lion's soul, a warrior's creed. Speed's his drug, it's all he needs. They build the walls, he breaks them down. Three-time king still wears the crown. Max Verstappen, king of the fight. Burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with the mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. So raise the flag, let the anthem play. Max the Maverick rules the day. Through grit and guile, he's here to stay. A racing god in every way. Well, Oscar, you rolled in like a king on a throne. China, Bahrain, them trophies you did own. 3 wins piled high, you ruled that racing track. But now your leads are shaking, Lando storming back. Silverstone hit hard, your brake check caught a fine. 10 seconds sunk your hopes, boy, you're losing your shine. Canada's wall, you shoved Lando to the stone. Now he's riding tall, and you're out there all alone. Oscar, your race leads slipping away like dust on a lonesome road. Lando's got the fire, and your dreams are bound to fold. 8 points left, you're sweating in the sun. Lando's got the wheel, boy, your lead's near done. Austria's done.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to NFR, welcome back to SKR on a Sunday evening. Of course, tonight, Season 12, Round 5, familiar circuit or unfamiliar circuit. You decide. Of course, we're at the Red Bull Ring. Just looks somewhat different. Of course, we're going to be going around the Red Bull Ring in reverse. Changes the dynamics of the circuit so much. All your uphills become downhills, all your downhills become uphills, your lefts become rights. Maybe the Red Bull Ring. Doesn't matter how well rehearsed you are at the Red Bull Ring. The circuit and rehearsal's not going to help you much. Just the 15 drivers this evening. Seems like we're missing a few drivers. Maybe one or two will still squeeze in before qualifying. One good thing about having a small field is it gives some of the guys an opportunity to pick up some points if the season hasn't been going according to plan so far. We have a few cars out on outlap, still a few cars sitting in the pits. Of course, you can get away with sitting in the pits a little longer in this qualifying session. Is one of the shortest race circuits on the calendar. So you do have a few extra minutes on your hands in this qualifying session. Just bringing up your entire situation, and as expected, the entire field on the soft compound. Captain Slow, he's decided to go out with the medium compound. So just getting a feel of the circuit. Right on board with Nismo, so you can have a look at the circuit. Yes, you're at the Red Bull Ring. Or are you at the Red Bull Ring? What is this? Downhill, left-hand hairpin, probably one of the most difficult corners on this circuit. And then of course with this reverse layout, what it does is it almost extends the straight. You're able to come off that final corner with a lot of speed and accelerate down. She would have set us up first lap of the day. It's 106.3 and it's immediately beaten by Nismo, 104.3. 2 seconds cover the two timed drivers so far. You're looking at Smoke. This would be sector 3 of the normal circuit. Now in sector 2. It's all very confusing. Tian goes quickest in the meanwhile, 104.1, quickest time we've seen so far. Jonas goes over the line in P2, 104.3. Nismo has another 104.3, so very close lap times at the front so far. They're riding on board with Smoke as he approaches the end of the lap. This is the final corner. Used to be turn 1, now it's turn 10. He goes over the line and let's see what he can come up with. I was about to say no lap time. There it is, 105.9, good enough for P7. Still a bit of work to do. To Williams, 6 and 7, 105.0, 105.7, 7/10s covering the teammates. Going slowly, this is Jonas, Nismo returning to the pits. Levy, his first lap time of the evening, that put him a 105.0. Top 4 keeps changing. Now Weiss goes up into P4, 104.8. Well, if you're in this league and you're a midfield driver, I feel for you. Look at that top 4. Tian, Jonas, Nismo, and Weiss. There's still a few quick drivers who haven't set quick lap times, and they're out of position. three, all in the pits for now. It's Dion, Jonas and Nismo. Weeze is still out on track. This is the driver currently in P4 and he might be returning to pits. Yes, he is. He's returning to pits. There we go. And there's a reference of where the pit entry is, in case you were wondering. Now looking at the McLaren. This is Andre, currently in P5 with a 104.9. Spoken so many times about that time difference between Andre and Skull. Look at that, 104.9, 104, 105.0, 1/10 of a second. And we know they can get even closer than that. This is Jonas back on an outlap. P2 is not what he came here for. He wants to take pole position. It's all about pride. Of course, as Ayrton Senna once said, I am not designed to be second, third, fourth or fifth. I am designed to win. And I plan on winning every time I hit that race circuit. You got your crazy top four, and then best of the rest is Andre, and he's actually not far behind. Look at that, Weeze 104.8, Andre 104.9, so he could very easily break into those two front rows, two top rows rather. So Skull currently in P8, of course didn't have the season he would have liked, or rather the season start he would have liked, and as I say it, commentator's curse. Tries to get on the power a touch too early, loses the back end, finds himself facing the wrong direction. Hopefully that is his one glitch for the evening, and there'll be none of that in the race. I'm waiting for Death Queen to start swearing at me. That was commentator's curse at its very best. Grade A commentator's curse. 104.1 is the quickest time. That is Tian. Second best is Jonas, Nismo, Weeze. That's your top four. Then Andre and Levy, Virus and Skull, and Pantry Star and Spikes make up that top 10. Said we started with 15 in the lobby. One or two might still squeeze in. Seems like one has squeezed in. We're now up to 16 drivers. Of course, going back to Skull, not the start of the season he wanted in SKR or SAFRL. 3 DNFs to open up each season. But of course, last week here in SKR for round 4, he did pick up his first point of the season, so that was definitely a step in the right direction. And if you watched SAFRL on Tuesday, well, you'll know not only did he take another step in the right direction, he took a leap in the right direction. Skull was your race winner on Tuesday night. Caution in Sector 2. You're looking at Dion, the man currently in P2. Look at the time, 104.1. So close. 104.0, 104.1. That is the difference on the front row. Just a shade under a 1/10 of a second. 0.08 of a second. Back on an outlap, he's in P5, but he doesn't consider that P5 to be a safe P5. He knows he needs to go out there and defend that lap. There's a lot of drivers behind him that aren't that far behind him. In fact, just highlight that. Look at your timing screen. Andre 104.9. Then behind him, 3 drivers on 105.0s. Tian goes even quicker, first driver into the 103s, 103.7 for Tian. Pulls another one out of the bag, and folks, there's still 7.5 minutes remaining in the session. The times usually go down as the session goes on, and if we're in the 103s already, well, I fear for the rest of the field. Virus getting pushed back into the pits, Skull sitting in the pits. Speaking of Skull, this is his team over on the other side at SAFRL. This is Ferrari, Captain Slow and Pantry Star. I was just going to say they were 9 and 10. They have been demoted to 10 and 11. 105.2, 105.2. Just 200ths of a second between the two Ferrari teammates. 10 and 11, the best they can do for now. Tian, I believe he's returning to the pits. That final run of 103.7. Of course, he's still got time to get back out there. That is the benefit of such a short layout. And not only is it a short layout, it's also a very quick layout. So you're able to get back to the pits really quick. In some cases, you might get an entirely extra run in a qualifying session at Austria. Something that Andre and Skull tend to have in common is this little strategy they do at the beginning of qualifying, where they do multiple laps on one set of tyres. So while Andre may be sitting in P6, remember he did that lap with either a heavy car or with aging tyres. Either way, that is not the best lap he can produce. When he puts on that fresh set of rubber, and obviously drains that fuel tank to the absolute minimum that he needs, well, theoretically there should be time there, and if there isn't, it's because he made a mistake. Track very quiet at the moment, just 3 cars out on track, 4 in fact, 1 on an outlap, 3 on flyers, Pantry Star, Smurf, and the last man I believe to join the lobby. It's Leaded Sky down in P16. He has not set a lap. He's about to go over the line. Will this be his first lap? Yes, it is. It's a 106.9. Remember, for some of these drivers, I think all of them will have done this layout by now. But that being said, none of these reverse layouts will be as well practiced as the other tracks on the calendar. Some of the tracks on the calendar have been on the game, well, for more than a decade. So drivers are well rehearsed. When it comes to these reverse circuits, even the quickest drivers, a mistake is never far away. It almost works as a bit of an equalizer. Although when you've got the likes of Tian in the field, there is no equalizer. The only equalizer is a Tian DNF. Very quiet out on track. Although the drivers do have extra time to do laps, they still want to manage their tyres, want to make sure you don't use all of your softs in qualifying, leave yourself with no options for the race. Don't know how popular that soft compound would be in the race. I suppose we will soon find out. Of course, just because it's a reversed Austria does not mean the setups and the strategies that applied to Austria will apply here. This is a totally different layout and virtually a totally different circuit. Towards the skies with 3 minutes to go. There's definitely some cloud, but there's definitely some blue. We're not worried about rain in qualifying because qualifying is almost over. What if we get rain in the race on a setup people aren't quite used to. This corner here can be really nasty. Watch out for this corner on lap 1, downhill left-hander. Of course the track is in reverse and that corner is not meant to be driven that way, and that's why it's so awkward. It's not designed for a Formula 1 to go around it in that direction. Now we're going to ride on board with Nismo for what will probably be his final attempt. Goes as wide as he can into turn 1, caution in sector 1. Fast flowing sector 1. Changes the dynamic of the circuit so much. In fact, out of all the reverse circuits on this game, this is my favourite to drive. I hate commentating on all the reverse circuits, by the way, because I don't know where I am. But as far as driving goes, this is my favourite circuit. Feels pretty natural in its reverse state, all except for this corner. I hate that corner. If I do 10 laps, I'm going to mess that corner up 9 times. Now let's see Nismo as he goes around the final corner. Just a touch of the curve on the inside, he's all of the track on the outside and he's about to go over the line. Is there an improvement? It's 104.3 for now. And I think that's the end of things because he has gone off the circuit to make way for the rest. Tian P1, Wees P2, Jonas P3, all of those drivers out on outlaps, looking for improvements. The session is over for Nismo unless he's got extra fuel in that car to do one more lap, but I don't think so. I think he was on the limit. Pantry Star, he's found his way off the grid up to P5, Virus P6, Mike's P7, Sugar Bear returning to the pits. He's going to be in P8 at best. This is Andre. Remember I said that last lap was set with either a heavy car or not ideal tyres. Now he should have a light car and ideal tyres. So let's see what he can come up with. 104.9. Is there an improvement? Stays as a 104.9. Let's keep our eyes on that McLaren as the session goes on. Virus has retired from the session. He will take no more part in the session. This is the driver currently in P2, 104.0. Session has come to an end. He's a 10th down in Sector 1. And that's the end of the run for Wees. It looks like Jonas was also put off. And it looks like who else is still out on track? Tian is still out on track. But he's returning to the pits. So it looked like it's going to be a really exciting finish at the end there with all the quickest men on the track at the same time. Well, Wees had a bit of a spin. Tian returned to the pits and no improvement from Jonas. He's still out on track. Levy is still out on track. I believe Andre is still out on track. He's about to go over the line, is he? 104.9 will remain Andre's best. He's going to have to go from P11 at best. Leaded Sky is still out on track, is he? Levy returns to the pits and Leaded Sky has crossed the checkered flag. So that is the end of qualifying. Green mentioning harsh cartoon not here this evening. Maybe that's why Visor's not here this evening. Of course, qualifying has come to an end and now we're just waiting for things to tick down, get our official results and head straight off into the race. There are your results for qualifying. Tian takes pole position from Wees. That's going to be your front row. And they're going to be followed by Jonas, Nismo, Pantry Star, Virus, Spikes and Skull. And then Sugar Bear and Levy. They're going to make up the top 10. We did get one more in before the end of qualifying, so outside the top 10, Andre 11, followed by Smurf, Sensor, Top Gun, Leaded Sky got in here last, and Captain Slow was disqualified from qualifying, which means he will go from the rear of the field. The commentator said it, and so it happened. Folks, not only are we doing a reverse circuit that a lot of drivers aren't particularly familiar with, it appears we've thrown something into the mix. A little bit of rain, maybe a lot of rain. I suppose we'll find out when they get out on track. It's going to make for a very interesting scenario. Of course, drivers will have been working on their strategies for this not so familiar circuit, and now all of a sudden they arrive at the race start. They may have to rethink those strategies. Of course, they're going to have to start on a wet compound. Drivers will have a better idea than I do if this rain will carry on till the end of the race. Maybe it gets lighter, maybe it gets heavier, maybe it gets dry and then rains again. Really, the game can throw anything at you, just as the weather can throw anything at you IRL. So it's going to be interesting for all of the drivers to see where they go from here. And all we can do is wish them luck. I think the only thing worse than this is if we suddenly made it a night race. Would be one damn good night race, because the Red Bull Ring doesn't have any floodlights. It would be like a South African Grand Prix at Kyalami at night during load shedding. You want excitement in F1? There you go. No need for complications, it's simple. Just throw some crazy stuff in the mix. A lengthy pause usually suggests a little bit of shock on the grid. Everybody taking a little bit more time with their strategies, nobody having pressed X just yet. Of course, what happens is you can pretty much take as much time as you want to do that strategy, but when the first driver presses X, well, then you get a 30-second timer. And somebody did about 30 seconds ago. As we're underway on our formation lap, we get the dual green lights. Drivers will get an opportunity to look at this layout one more time, and for the first time in the rain. While they do that, let's do the same thing. This will give you a good view of the circuit, good view of the conditions, what the drivers will be facing out there. The spray does get a little bit more intense in the race. Formation lap drivers not driving at full speed, giving each other space, all doing their own little thing, doing their own little preparation for the race. Rather, formation lap's not really preparation for the race, it's preparation for turn 1. Have a very quick top 4 heading into turn 1. I'd say the most complicated part of these reverse circuits is the start of the race, because that turn 1 will be alien to most of the field. Remember, a lot of these drivers have done practice laps on this circuit. How many have done laps on this circuit surrounded by other cars? Some of which with very aggressive drivers in them. We now wait for the 5 red lights. You know the drill. They'll come on one after the other, and when we get to 5 there'll be a pause and go. It's Sauber versus Mercedes into turn 1. Will the Red Bull get in the mix? Will the RB get in the mix? What will Pantry Star do? Pantry Star loses a position, goes down to P6. And Weeze takes the lead of the race. Tian runs wide on turn 1. Not what he would have wanted, and now he's being passed by an RB as well. Or is he? The RB off the circuit. Everybody just trying to come to terms with track limits in the early stages. And all the while, Weeze enjoying the clear track ahead of him, while everybody behind him does a little bit of tripping over themselves. Welcome to Blade in the comment section. Also to Weeze if you're listening in the background. Big T if you're listening in the background. I saw you guys, or rather Tian, I saw you guys in the comment section earlier, so if you're listening in the background, best of luck to you, best of luck to all the other drivers. Some of the drivers watch the stream after the fact, in case most of our views come after the fact. It's lap 1 of 36, Weeze leads from Tian, then Nismo. Don't read too much into some of those strategies. We bring up the tyre screen and we always expect to see the entire field on the same compound tyre. Of course, not in the dry. Some drivers are going to go with the soft or the medium or the hard, but when it comes to conditions like this, the decision is usually clear whether it's intermediate conditions or wet conditions. Well, it looks like the field isn't entirely sure. We look at the fastest 4 men on the circuit: Weeze, Tian, Nismo and Jonas. And well, look at those drivers. Weeze has a set of wets, Tian has a set of inters, Nismo has a set of wets, and Jonas has a set of inters. So for the time being, what is the right tyre? If you know in the comment section, let me know what tyre you would rather be on. But if this track is drying out, then rather not drying out, but if the rain is letting up, then I think that the race could come to those intermediate runners. Good evening to Jevin in the comment section asking, where is Visor? Well, I would love to know where Visor is. Section has not been absolutely flooded, so that means Visor has not yet made an appearance. Tends to have a record for being fashionably late, so we might still see him at some point in this race, but he will probably leave in disappointment as his favorite driver is not here tonight. And we know the real reason he tunes in. It's all about his favorite driver. Keep looking at the top 4 in interest, because this is such a strange situation. P1, P2, P3, P4 evenly split between the wet and intermediate compound. It's a guessing game. What is the right tyre? But if you look at the situation with Weeze and Tian, gap is 1.3 seconds and the gap has stabilized, so it looks like those two are matching each other on 2 different compounds. It's a difficult scenario to be in. Press the button there in your controller. You ask your engineer for information on the weather. He keeps on telling you something silly. It'll dry up in 15 minutes, and then you'll ask him 10 minutes later and he'll say it'll dry up in 15 minutes. Difficult conditions. You don't know whether you want to be on the blue tyre or the green tyre. Well, I can tell you Nismo has gone down a position on those wet tyres. He's down to P4, and now the two intermediate runners that were running in P2 and 4 are now running in P2 and 3. Let's have a look at Jonas. Of course, he just made up a position from P4 to P3. Did he do that because Nismo made some sort of a mistake, or did he do that because the time now is for the Inter? Ah yes, that explains it. Visor is not here because you're not driving. Explain. Weasel leads the way, but now that gap's starting to come down. I wonder if he's starting to have issues on that wet tyre. Let's have a look at the Mercedes. Of course, that gap was over a second not so long ago, 1.3 seconds. We said the gap had stabilized, but now Tian making up a lot of ground, 7/10, 6/10, but watch through the corners. That's where you'll see the gap coming down. Look at that, 5/10 of a second. He's got the extra grip in the corners, and now it's starting to show. I think Visor has Google Alerts set to his phone. The moment Harsh Cartoon makes an appearance, he's in here. Didn't hit the notification bell to NFR. He hit the notification bell to Harsh Cartoon. The gap at the front continues to come down, just 5/10. Actually hasn't come down, and it can't come down much more than that. Tian would have to make the overtake. Jonas, remember, he made the overtake from P4 to P3 on those intermediates, and now he's starting to catch up to this leading pack, just 2.4 seconds behind. He has found a second in the last lap and a half on this leading pack. It's lap 6 of 36. In what appears to be intermediate conditions. If I were driving, I would think that is intermediate conditions, but as you can see, most of the field, they're on the wet tyre, with the exception of 4 drivers. Tian, Jonas, those on P2 and 3, and then Virus in P10 and Smurf at the rear of the field in 16. Those 4 drivers, they're on the intermediate tyre, and if they've made the right choice, things are about to flip. Of course, in the opposing scenario, rain could start to fall heavier. And those poor souls that took the intermediate tyre, their race will fall away from them very quickly. Jonas now sets the fastest lap of the race, and that was set on a set of intermediate tyres. That is all the confirmation you need. The track has switched, and the track is officially green territory. Further down the field, keep your eyes on Virus, keep your eyes on that time between Virus and Levy. The gap is 2.5 seconds, but you can see Virus is on the intermediate tyre, and I believe that's the quicker tyre right now. This is Tian doing all he can to get past Wheeze. You can see the time between him and Jonas coming down and down and down. He's not going to have that tyre advantage with Jonas. He's going to hold him there for as long as he can, tries to close the door, just manages to stay in front. And that will hurt Tian's momentum. And that'll allow Jonas to come straight into this battle and start to apply the pressure to the Sauber driver. And maybe that can just take a little bit of heat off that Mercedes driver in the lead. Nobody jumping just yet, nobody coming into the pits for Inters just yet. Everybody's happy to stay out there, but you can see the gap between Nismo and Jonas. Nismo was up there with the top 4, he was quick in qualifying. Now on a set of wets he's fallen 6.7 seconds adrift from the man in P3. But somehow, Louise having fun with the rest of the field. He's done a good job until now to hold them back, but no longer can he. Tian goes up the inside, and unless he makes a mistake, I don't know how Weiss is going to be able to retake him. His attention will now change to his mirrors. I don't think he can attack the Sauber on these wet tyres, but he could lose another position very shortly. Such a strange scenario. So many times if you come into a wet race and you go and you look at the tyres, they'll all be on wets or they'll all be on intermediates. The moment this race started and I saw there was a split in the tyres, I knew there was going to be something interesting coming up. Tian sets the fastest lap of the race, and that's an intermediate runner. Confirmation yet again. Quite a few of you watching now. Welcome to everyone who is watching the stream, or any of the drivers who are listening to the stream in the background. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Of course, if you're enjoying the content and you haven't hit the like button, what's wrong with you? Tian leads the way, Weiss in P2, Jonas in P3, Nismo P4, Spikes P5, Skull. He's quietly been making progress in the background. Got his first SKR point just 7 days ago. Would have been happy at the time to get on the score sheet, but now it's time to get a little bit more than just 1 point. Tian again, fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap, 15.7, he's just going quicker and quicker. All the while, what Weiss did to Tian initially, he's now doing to Jonas. Jonas will feel he should have the faster tyre, he should have the advantage at this stage, but he just can't get past Weiss. But now Weiss runs very wide. This might be the opportunity somehow manages to get his foot down and stay in it, but surely not this time. And Jonas finally, does he get the move done? Not quite. And there we go. Lots of wheel to wheel, lots of squabbling, but eventually gets the overtake done. And if Weiss can have one more go, you'll know he'll do it. And he wanted to take the widest line possible, and he took a line that was a little too wide. That's going to allow Jonas to take a deep breath. 2.5 seconds is now the gap, and for the first time in a while, Weiss is not a headache. Tian another fastest lap, 15.6, 4.2 seconds is the gap. At the front of the field, 16 drivers in the race, the same 16 that started the race, so we've had no retirements, we've had no stoppages in this race. We've barely had any yellow flags in this race. Things have been going pretty well, especially when you consider the conditions. As you can see now, the raindrops really falling lightly compared to what we saw at the start of the race. And there's a lot more drivers on the intermediate tyre. Weiss, on the other hand, still on the wet tyre that he started the race on, as is Nismo, as is Skull and Andre, Pantry Star and Levy. All of that midfield down from P3 to P8, all on aging wets on a circuit That doesn't appear to be wet territory anymore. I was going to say fastest lap again, but this time round it's stolen by Jonas. Jonas has the fastest lap of the race, and that's the man in P2, 3.7 seconds is the gap. Let's close that gap. Remember, those two drivers, they're on the same strategy, so tyres shouldn't come into play for them. They're both on the intermediate, they both started on the intermediate. They both saw something that a lot of the drivers in the field did not see. Remember, just 4 drivers chose to go on that intermediate at the start of the race. This is Skull in P5. Lead Williams driver, the other Williams right at the rear of the field, having just gone in before it could stop. New set of intermediate tyres for sensor fault. Got a lot of clean air, but he's got a lot of work to do. He's 10 seconds behind the next driver. At the front, Tian still leads the way, but I can tell you the gap has come down just a little. 3.4 seconds, the gap was 3.7 seconds, so he's found 3/10. If he's going to catch Tian and pass Tian, he's going to want to close that gap a little quicker. Because it's only lap 13, still such a long way to go in this race. And we have no way of knowing what will happen in this race. Of course, the rain could start falling again, down even harder, track could dry up completely, or it could end in these conditions. Usually from a broadcast perspective, you would have more than enough weather information, but due to the game being, well, stupid, commentator has no weather information, and the only people with somewhat information, and that is, I say somewhat, because it's pretty unreliable, are the drivers. Just let me know in the comment section if everybody can hear the stream, if you can hear the cars, if you can hear my voice, and of course if the stream is running fine and not buffering, doing anything silly. Because last time out we lost game audio, and I can confirm that is a game issue. You can randomly lose audio in one session and then get it back the next. I had it the other day where I had no audio in qualifying, and as the race started, the audio magically came back. So, again, thank you to EA for your brilliance. Tian 1:14.1, fastest lap of the race. Gap at the front still coming down, and maybe that is just Tian having a response, trying to find a little more. 3 seconds. Remember, it was 3.7, it's down to 3. That means Jonas is finding the time. We know Tian's got pace, we know he's one of the quickest drivers in the field, but maybe in the rain, maybe the rain is going to be the equalizer, the great equalizer. Jonas still 3 seconds adrift. If that gap continues to drop, race on. Weeze somehow, not sure how, still out on the wet tyre in what is clearly not wet weather tyre conditions. Can't be ideal for him out there. stays out. The only other driver on track to have done the same thing is Nismo. Also started on that wet tyre and he's still holding on to it after all this time. Everybody else that started on the wet tyre, and that would have been the majority of the field, has since come in to get themselves a set of intermediates. Just Weeze and Nismo continue the madness. Jonas 3.2 seconds, so the gap was coming down. It's starting to increase once more. So frustrating. Put in lap after lap, you start feeling a consistency, you start feeling the groove, you start feeling good. You see the time coming down, 3.7, 3.5, 3.2, and you think, I've got this. And then just a silly mistake, just a little squirm when you least expected it, breaks your momentum, you look up, you've lost the 6/10, it took you 3 laps to gain, you've got to do it all again. Say the lead Red Bull driver, but what's wrong with me? That's not the lead Red Bull driver, Virus in P5. The lead Red Bull driver is Jonas in P2. Be a double points finish for the Red Bull team. Would be a good result. Skulls driving around in P6. Driver hungry for points in season 12. What a way to get SAFR well started. 3 DNFs in the first 3 rounds. 4th round, victory and mic drop. Well, will you look at that? I think in this scenario, Visor would usually say, well. Not something I would have done, not something I would have expected, but I'm not one of the quickest drivers on the race circuit. This man is. Remember, he started on the wet tyre. Seemed to have been the wrong choice as the intermediate runners are still out there. Tian 17 laps, Jonas 17 laps on those inters, and he's actually just set the fastest lap of the race. We stayed out for as long as he could on those wet tyres, trying to avoid the extra pit stop. And now in his belief, this track is only going to get drier, so he's taken a roll of the dice, come in, put on a set of slick tyres. Not only are they slicks, they hards. That's going to be the most difficult compound to warm up. He's down in P10, and it appears very clear that the circuit is nowhere near ready for this set of tyres. He will be disappointed with that. He'll be waiting for some sort of stoppage, praying for some sort of stoppage. The guys at the front, well, they won't care what happened. They'll be thinking ahead, they'll be thinking towards the checkered flag, trying to close up some points in the championship. Yeah, even quicker, lap after lap, 13.6. It's a combination of two things. The track is getting drier, the rain is getting lighter, and then it's also just the drivers getting so much more confident in these conditions, and not only in the conditions, in the layout of the circuit. Remember, such a new layout. The more you do it, the more comfortable you will feel. Smoke there in the background, almost looked like a lockup from beyond the sponsor boards. I'm not sure what that was. Tian still leads the way too. Remember, I said the gap was 3.7, came all the way down to 3. And well, it's back at 3.6, almost 3.7. I'm not sure if Jonas made some sort of mistake and lost momentum, or Tian saw that gap coming down and he said, "Not on my watch," and gave a little response. Some more drivers now. Weeze has retired. Weeze has retired. Let's have a look at the track map. Has he retired in the pits? I believe he's retired in the pits. That's a Mercedes in the pits. Weeze has retired from round 5. One of the quickest drivers in the field and one of the favourites for tonight's race. Well, no points on a Sunday night. We do have a caution in sector 1, but I believe that's all it is. We look to the track map and don't see anything odd happening. Weeze has left the session. Seem pretty annoyed. Happens like that sometimes. Just to make, I've said it before on the stream, that sometimes your race can be decided before turn 1. Sometimes it can be decided on the grid by the strategy you choose. Of course, you can pick the perfect strategy, you've still got to have the race. But if that strategy is wrong, well, it can disable your entire race going forward. Tian, Jonas, Virus, Skull. Skull promoted up into P4. He'll be happy with that result if the checkered flag were to fall right now. The Red Bull team would be really happy with this result if the checkered flag were to fall right now. P2, P3, but look at the gap between the teammates. Insane gap between the two teammates. 41 seconds between P2 and 3. And that is what a rain-affected race looks like in the timesheets. Weeze in the comment section just saying that the race was over on the formation lap. Started on the wrong tyres. Mentioned that about a moment ago. Getting the strategy wrong, getting the tyres wrong can lose you the race before turn 1. Sometimes you roll the dice, you get it spot on. Other times you roll the dice, and you're not as lucky. That's why it's a gamble. Skull will be happy with the promotion though, P4. Mentioned how closely matched Skull and Andre are in the past. Well, Skull P4, Andre P5, 1.9 seconds separate the two. Sugar in P6, and we've actually got both of the Ferraris up in the points. Pantrastar P7, Captain Slow P9, Smurf between them in P8. And now we've had a DNF again. Looking at the track map really quickly, is that a DNF in the pits? I believe it is a DNF in the pits. It's an Aston Martin sitting stationary in the pits. Should be no fears of a safety car. That is a pit stop retirement. It looks like Weeze and Spikes went into the pits and called it a day. Will you look at that top 3? Jonas, Virus, Skull, and that's changed. Dion has popped back into the front. I'm not sure what happened to my timing sheet. Dion disappeared and now he's back in P1. Dion leads, Jonas second, Virus third, Skull P4. But the gaps are something we have not become accustomed to on this channel. We're used to close racing. If there isn't a battle at the front, you're always going to find a whole bunch of battles in the midfield. But if you look at this field, well, there's 2 DRS battles to currently speak of, and you can't even call them DRS battles because DRS isn't active. So just 2 battles within a second in the entire field. And the gap between 3 and 4, or rather the gap between 2 and 3, 27 seconds. Jonas sets the fastest lap of the race. Just looks like Dion has a handle on this. Looks like he has a handle on the race, on the lap times, because you can see that gap 3.7, it comes down to 3.5, goes right back up. Looks like he's able to watch that gap, and the moment it comes down, he's able to just reach a little further into his pocket, pull out a little something extra, which means he's racing in reserves. You get drivers like me, they go out, drive on the limit, finish at the back, and then you get drivers that drive out front and keep a little extra in their pocket. The 2 extremes of virtual racing. Leaded Sky now retires from the session. We have a look towards the pit box, and this time around I think that is something yellow coming out of the pits. Let's see if we can get confirmation on that. There we go, safety car, lap 25 of 36. Don't worry about what it says on your screens, that is a game problem. It says caution in sector 2, but I can confirm, and the track map can confirm, and what you see in front of you can confirm. We are under full safety car conditions. Now what will this do to the race? This could change everything in the race. Not so long ago we were talking about the massive gaps in time. But now the safety car will bring this field together. And the interesting thing to watch is, where is the weather? What is the weather doing? Do you see raindrops? I don't see raindrops. Do you come into the pits? Surely if you're going to do it, you're going to do it now, before that queue gets close together. Ooh, and the RB. Is that an RB going late for a decision? Thought he was going to stay out on track for a moment, and then decided to come into the pits at the last moment. It's going to be a very busy pit lane, and I think everybody's going to be putting on a set of slick tyres. An interesting race. It was wet, then it was intermediate, the gaps grew large, the gaps grew far, and we thought this race is all but over. The safety cars come out, it's going to compress this queue. The weather is right up, everybody's got fresh slicks on their car, and the final stint of this race is going to be very, very different to the first stint of this race. All dry, all slicks, all gaps cancelled out. Those 2 Red Bulls I think would have preferred it. If there had been no safety car, they would have had that 2 and 3 in the bag. Of course, for Jonas, he can have a go at Tian at the lead. I know if Virus was thinking of a victory, he would have been happy with P3, but now he's going to have Skull all over his mirrors. You find yourself with a large gap. The last thing you want is a safety car. You're at the back. This is fantastic. If you're in the front, this is annoying. drivers know every time there's a safety car, my viewership drops a little bit. Not sure why that is. People don't like watching you drive behind the safety car. At 27 of 36, so we should get a notification when the safety car is coming in. At that track map, that will give you an idea of the queue, and as you can see, no real queue has formed just yet. Short queue here behind the safety car, but still many cars trying to catch up. The safety car will do a maximum of 3 laps, at which stage, if you have not caught up to that queue, the safety car will leave you behind. Safety car is in this lap. Warning I just gave on the safety car leaving you behind is going to come very much into play. Still a few cars lingering around in Sector 2 as the leaders here getting ready for what they hope will be the final start to the race this evening. After that, most of the rain was done in the wet, where no penalties on the screen. Almost no retirements until recently. Now we've got 3 retirements, penalties everywhere, and it's dry. We've had our restart, don't worry about the screens, it still says caution in Sector 2, but I assure you they are back to racing speed. Dion leads the way, Jonas in P2, Virus in P3. And I'm not quite sure how Levy did that. 1:10.6 fastest lap of the race. I think that was just him trying to catch the safety car as much as he could. Set the fastest lap of the race. That will come down because of the rest of the field being on slicks as well. Dion leads the way. Jonas P2, 9/10 of a second. But Jonas has picked up a penalty. So keep that in mind if Jonas is going to win this race. Winning it on track is not going to be enough. He needs to win it on track by at least 3 seconds. Actually, just a touch over 3 seconds. This is Virus. His teammates disappeared into the distance following Tian. Virus has been left behind in P3 with his mirrors full of Williams. Skull went from a terrible season to a winner on Tuesday night to a possible podium finisher on Sunday. That's how quickly your seasons can switch around. When you're not feeling on your game and you're not feeling like you want to practice, well, this is the sort of results that make you practice. It's the sort of results that pick you up and make you want to go again. A win on Tuesday, and a possible podium on Sunday. It's the motivation that can get anyone going. A few DNFs in a row, that motivation can start to linger. Jonas 106.4, fastest lap of the race. That's the man in P2. 3/10 of a second down. Nothing in it between the top 2. Looked like this race was going to be decided already. But then the safety car came out, cancelled that 3.7 gap, 3.7 second gap, and brought the Red Bull right to the back of the Salva and gave us a race all over again. I wonder if Weeze would have drove through the pain if he knew this safety car was on its way. Of course, safety cars can flip races, they can flip timesheets, and who knows where that Mercedes would have been had it not retired. Of course, we do understand the retirement was a very frustrating drive. Dion still out front, no gap between the two of them, just 0.2 of a second. in its front wing to rear diffuser at the moment. Goes one way, goes the other. And Tian remains undeterred. Now up the inside, he tries again. And he tucks in behind the Salva once more, again side by side. This time he gets it done. Jonas leads the way from Tian. But will Tian give it up that easily? And remember, Jonas needs to disappear up the road if he wants to keep this victory. Tian just needs to keep him within sight. A little further down the road from those top two, we've got the battle for the final podium spot. That's the battle between Virus and Skull, 3 and 4. Gap 7/10 of a second, well within DRS. Not that many laps to go. They're on equal sets of tyres. So tyres will not be the decider. It's going to be all out pace. Or who makes the first mistake. I was complaining we had no DRS battles. Well, now we have a whole bunch. DRS battle for the lead, DRS battle for P3, and this is the DRS battle for P5. Pantry Star and Sugar Bear fighting it out 0.4 of a second. Another DRS battle for P7 between Andre and Captain Slow. So DRS battles throughout the field, except for those last two drivers, 11 and 12. They find themselves quite away from the rest of the field. Quite a way away. Well, English. Complicated. This is Jonas beating one more lap, one more round of this odd looking circuit. You only know you're in Austria because of these surroundings. Take the surroundings out of the game, make it blank sphere, you wouldn't know what track you're at. In sector 1, lap 33 of 36. Hopefully that's all it is, and it has disappeared from our screens, so we should have no further action. And again, caution in sector 2 popping up. That's obviously just somebody off track or driving slowly, because you've been able to get going again. Always worrying when you see that solid yellow pop up in the top left of your screen. So little laps to go. We've seen it on this channel before. We've seen 1 lap sprints to the end, 2 lap sprints to the end. But I think this time around they will be safe. Once you get to lap 34, no more safety cars can happen. There we go, my stream might have just dropped out. It's my internet just going up and down. I do apologize. Hopefully it sorts itself out because we don't have that much longer to go. Lap 34 of 36. I am aware of the problems on the stream, and I do apologize. If you want to get a good viewing experience, maybe just rewind by a minute or 2 and that should fix your issue. Jonas leads the way, 0.3 of a second between him and Tian. But remember, that penalty that would guarantee the victory for the Salva driver. We haven't seen it, but it's happened. Skull has made the overtake. Skull has made the overtake on the second Red Bull driver, Virus, and he is up into the podium positions. Captain Slow, as Green pointing out, started last because of that disqualification in qualifying. No lap time whatsoever next to his name, and to start from the rear of the field. He's running in P7. Another good example of don't let your head fall at the end of qualifying. Having a brilliant qualifying does not mean you're going to win the race. Having a terrible qualifying doesn't mean you're going to have a terrible race. Anything can happen in the race, and tonight was one of the best examples of it. Lap 35 of 36. Just need my internet to hold out for another 10 minutes or so. Don't know why it's dropping like this. Very annoying. Good timing. Great timing. If you're watching this after the live broadcast, you'll have no idea what I'm talking about because you won't see any of the buffering. You'll only be seeing the buffering if you're watching live. Lap 36 of 36 has begun, the final lap. What has been a very enjoyable round. Dion leads the way, Jonas in P2. I don't think he's too worried about that now. Just needs to make sure he stays 3 seconds ahead of Skull so he can maintain that P2. No way he's going to take the lead and open a 3-second gap, so I think he's accepted the position. And now he needs to make sure he maintains it. We've got a caution, but it's too late in the race to worry about it. And what a angle that was. We got to see Skull in a bit of a slide. Luckily for him, he held everything together. P3, fantastic drive, had a fantastic drive on Tuesday. I'm not sure if he expected this result. Can't tell you, Tian's gone over the line. Jonas has gone over the line. That's your P1 and P2, and now Skull. 2 podiums in a row, a victory on Tuesday, a P3 on Sunday. And it all started with just a point last week. And everything else has since been going in the right direction. Now wait for those final results. Brief look at the podium. Salva driver doing some break dances. There's some of your race stats. Of course, the race winner. Oh, that just disappeared. Race winner, Tian, fastest lap, Jonas. Driver of the day, Captain Slow. Most overtakes, Captain Slow. And the cleanest driver on the night, Levy. There are your official results. Tian takes the victory. Jonas in P2 with that penalty at the end. Skull P3 gets another podium. Just off the podium, unlucky tonight, Andre P4, but he'll be happy with that because he started P11. Then Pantry Star P5, Virus P6, Captain Slow P7, Levy P8, Sugar Bear P9, and Smurf will take home the final point on Sunday night. No points on the night, Nismo P11, Top Gun P12, Sensor Fault 13, and then the 3 retirements, Leaded Sky, Spikes, and Wheeze. Of course, gonna go have a look on the Discord now, see if any of the drivers have decided to join the cooldown room, and maybe bring 1 or 2 of them in here. And of course, if you have any questions you would like me to ask, make sure to put them in the comments section. We do have Skull in the cooldown room. We do have Big T in the cooldown room. So I'm just going to make sure that the Discord channel is open so you guys can hear them. Just make sure all the mics are correct. There we go. I think that one should work. Let's see if we can get Big T and Skull. There we go. I think Skull and Big T are live. Of course, remember in the comment section, if you have any questions you'd like me to ask, just let me know in the comment section. We'll start with Skull. Skull, you got the victory. Well, you had the 3 retirements at the start of the season. You got 1 point last week, finally a step in the right direction. You got the victory on Tuesday, back on the podium on Sunday. things starting to go right? Have you been doing some extra practice?
For what was the last race? Can't remember. But there I
SAFRL?
did a few laps. Yeah, the race I won I did practice, but this one I didn't do any laps. I did half a lap in time trial, and then I said enough. I'm anyway gonna retire, so it's no need for practice. And then got lucky today.
That is not the attitude you're supposed to go into a race with. I'm gonna retire anyway, so oh well, half a lap, that's enough. So we'll go over to Big T. Big T, tell me a little bit about your race. Of course, in the beginning of the race looked like, well, it didn't look that way. It was that way. The 12 drivers out of the 16 drivers that started went on the wet compound. You were one of 4 drivers to go on the intermediate. What did you know that the rest of the field did not? Was that just a gamble, or didn't it look like blue
No,
tires to you?
so in the wet, even if the conditions, shit, am I breaking up?
Yeah, you just broke up a little bit. You can try again.
Okay. Even if the conditions are wet, just give me a second.
No problem.
Yes. Cutting out. Oh.
Just gonna wait and see if Tian can get that sorted on his side. What a race.
Can you guys hear me better?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. So even if the conditions are full wet, once the dry line forms, the inters are faster. So it was just about hanging out for those first few laps, and then I knew I would have the advantage plus the pit stop advantage as well.
And then obviously, because it was quite a strange scenario, because in those opening laps, the top 4, all of you guys were pretty much matching each other for the first 4 or 5 laps. 2 drivers had inters, 2 drivers had wets. So it's almost at the start of the race, it was really a crossover phase, and then obviously the track came to you. But did you know it wasn't going to rain the entire race? Could you see that from the info? The weather you have available?
It was supposed to stop. It was supposed to stop raining like by lap 20, but this game is so useless with its predictions. So I was hoping not to pit and then just go straight to dries, but that wasn't the case. In terms of pace with the top 4, I think once I set the fastest lap, I knew I was faster, but it's so hard to overtake at this track that I was just stuck behind Rees. That's why Malume caught up. And I managed to get past, and then Malume was stuck behind him for a while as well. But I'd say once I set the fastest lap, which I think was within the first 5 laps, the inters were already faster.
Because I can't speak on behalf of Weez. If he would if he's here, he can of course join the Discord. But from a commentary perspective, he started on the wet tire, and obviously when the track came to the inters, he started losing a lot of speed, started going backwards. It looked like he was trying to extend that run as far as possible, that he could put on a set of slicks. Eventually he did come in, he put on a set of hard tires. Raindrops were still clearly falling at that stage, and he went into the pits about 2 laps later and called it a day. So sometimes the gamble doesn't pay off, sometimes it does. And Dion, tonight it fell in your lap.
Yeah, no, I thought it was going to be close at the end with the safety car with Malume and DRS, but I knew when I was behind him, I could see he was struggling. So I knew I wanted to be leading on the last lap and then let him have dirty air. And then I knew where I could be faster and all that. So it worked out in the end. So, yeah.
How do you, first from Skull and then from Big T, Skull, how do you feel about the reverse circuits? Would you like the reverse circuits to stay on the calendar going forward? And would you like future F1 games to add more reverse circuits, or are you not a fan of them?
I'm not a fan at all. Sometimes they are nice if you actually practice for them, but no, I don't like them, not at all.
What about
They can do early.
you, Big T? Do you like them? Do you not like them? If you could add one reverse circuit, what would it be?
I think they're fun to drive, but out of 2 out of 3, I think it's quite hard to overtake. Austria and Silverstone being 2 of them. Zandvoort, I think it's a bit easier to overtake, but to drive, they're fun. If I was to add a track in reverse, I don't know, something with walls. So either Jeddah, Baku, Monaco, something like that.
That is the worst case scenario. Is something with walls. I would have picked Spa because I've always wanted to drive down Radion at top speed. I think that could be quite
a route backwards.
a Rouge, Radion.
You don't know.
One or the other. It's Radion actually.
A Rouge, you can't see where you're going, so it's a bit tricky.
Yeah, it would be quite exhilarating driving down that hill at that speed. Of course, now NFR goes on a break until Sunday. Big T, are you racing in any other races during the course of the week?
I think LSA.
We'll be driving in LSA. And Skull, any more races until Sunday?
Also LSA.
Also LSA. Okay, well, LSA is, I can't remember, is LSA's YouTube channel called LSA? I guess it's LSA. I should probably get
F1 LSA is something.
I should probably get their link so I can advertise it in the future. Of course, if you do have the LSA YouTube channel, make sure to support these two. When will you guys be racing? Same day or different tiers or same day?
Same day, I think.
Tier 1 and 2 is on Thursday. I think Tier 3 it's on Wednesday.
3 and 4 is Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, they are Wednesday.
So there will be SAFRL and SKR drivers out during the week. You can support those YouTube channels as you support us here on NFR. I want to thank Skull and Big T for joining us in the cool down room. I always enjoy speaking to you guys after the race. And thank you very much. I'll hopefully speak to you guys again on Sunday if you have a good race. Skull, I expect another victory on Sunday.
Thank you.
You've got a lot of ground to make in the championship. No calming down. Helmut Marko doesn't calm down. I'll rename myself Not Marko.
And must go away first.
I'll rename myself Not Marko and sort you out. Until next time, guys, thank you very much for joining. And I'll just going to go and say goodbye to the YouTube viewers. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
And there we go, back over to you on YouTube. I'm alone again. I hope everybody really enjoyed the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the interviews afterwards. We're trying to make that a more regular thing here on the channel, having a chat with the guys after the race. And maybe in the future, we can get the guys in here, 1 or 2 guys in here, even before the race, and have their views going into things. I want to thank you all again. I'm going to leave you with a bit of music just to close off the stream. And I will see you all again on Tuesday night. Until then, before I go, I was just about to go, but before I go, of course, we had a poll up for the race on Tuesday night. That poll closed because unfortunately I couldn't have it open that long. I will reopen the poll on Tuesday morning. Everybody can go in there and vote at any time before the race to decide the venue for Tuesday night's Grand Prix for SAFRL. Thank you one more time, and to everybody, enjoy and cheers.
A spark in the dark where your dreams collide. They'll tell you to stop, say the road's too long, but your heart keeps beating to a rebel song. Take a step, don't look below. Every scar's a story, only you will know. The weight of the world can't break your stride. You're carving your name where the stars reside. When the shadows call, when the nights grow cold, you'll find the strength in the tales untold. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. The ground may shake, but your roots run deep. Every fall you take is a promise you keep. The doubters will fade, their voices will break, 'cause your soul's on fire and it's yours to take. Run through the rain, chase the endless fight. Every dream you claim lights a spark in the night. The horizon's calling, it's yours to claim. A warrior's heart with a fearless flame. When the shadows